Hello, group. Welcome to Action Rock Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Today, Amy Rigby. Hang in there with me. This is different than what we usually cover on Action Rock Corner. This is there's a touch of punk in there. There's of course rock and roll in there, but largely it's singer-songwriter material, even folk. But when you write Dancing with Joe Ramone from this record, Yo Fugitives, you get a whole lot of slack from me. Dancing with Joe Ramone should be required listening for about anybody. Gotta hear at least once, twice before you're gone. Bucket list. Great tune. And these are great songs too on this record, Hang In There With Me. Here on YouTube, of course. The first song got me. You may have noticed I'm not the youngest man found on YouTube. The song is called Hell 60. Yes, hell, go to hell. 60. About aging and the decades. But 20 is like in 30 is like in 40 is like in 50, and then you get to 60. A very insightful song I found. And I saved that song for later listening on my YouTube Music Likes. Another song I saved, Dylan in Dubuque, Iowa, in the United States of America. The third song I saved was Bangs. Clearly, I don't have any bangs. You know, women's bangs. As in hair. And another insightful song that whoever wrote a song about bangs for your hair as a woman. Oh, guy. She mentions Joe Ramone had bangs, right? And then the fourth song I saved, Bad in a Good Way, about what's the $5 word for it? Just a bad guy who used women, and he dies, and a gathering of the women come together to honor him after his death. That's a pretty cool song. Amy writes good stories, and she's in the mood too. And all of these are great songs, and some of them good stories. And some of you may remember her being married to Wreckless Eric, the 70s English punk figure, punk legend, part of this tour and this record, Stiffs Live. They're still married, so Eric was first to be mentioned in this record, and they did 3 records as a couple. Eric is still there. Eric is still in the band. It's basically Eric and Amy as the band with a drummer. Just Eric has stepped back. He recorded this record. I think De facto helped produce the record. Like as it was recorded in their home. So I didn't see a production credit, but I take it self-produced when you're recording in your home studio. And so if you're interested in what Wreckless Eric is doing nowadays, it's this. That he's taking the back seat to Amy's writing. And you get lyrics. When you go on YouTube, there's lyrics but you don't need lyrics. You know? Like good singer-songwriters, like good folk artists, you can understand every word. So, great lyrics, great storytelling, great points. Not a political right, so don't worry about that if you're worried about that. And darn, 11 songs, 33 minutes. The music has edge. It's not strictly folk. You got some effects going on here. So there's edge to this music. So, you're scared off by me calling it folk. Give it a shot. There's some edge. There's some instrumentation giving it some edge. They both have punk backgrounds. Amy was in the Shams way back when, in the last roundup. But I think we know the Shams better. And so there's a bit of garage psych in here, Americana, pop, something labeled this as pop. Maybe Discogs. To put this down as pop. And I don't mind. I don't refute folk here. You gotta have some credibility. I went through my folk phase in high school because I thought I was supposed to. So I owned an 8-track. Country Joe McDonald and Bob Dylan and Joan Baez and Isla Guthrie and Pete Seeger and Cat Stevens and Brewer and Shipley and Melanie. I had folk. And I outgrew that by college. I'm still have outgrown it. But you give me some good folk, some good singer-songwriter with some edge, I'm okay. I don't look out for, and like I said at the top, she wrote Dancing with Joe Ramone. Excellent song. Gives a lot of credibility for me for what's Amy up to. And it just is a great, touching record. Funny in spots. Oh, I forgot to pull it, because I did review another record of songs written by a 60-year-old woman. Mick McDoo and Ursula from Australia. Forgive me for not remembering to take the notes. That's where the song Punk Grandma came from. Ursula had a different take on turning 60 than Amy Rigby does. Amy's more thought. Her humor is less overt. Ursula, her humor is more overt. Punk Grandma, the Invisible Woman, basically complaining about not getting the bartender's attention because she's too old for the bartender to notice her. Yeah. And that wasn't that long ago that I reviewed Mick Madu and Ursula. And I should have grabbed it. Here, give me a sec. This record. Mick Madu, I remembered that correctly, and Ursula, In the Zone. So, Ursula had a different take, somewhat, on turning 60 than Amy Rigby does. Some of you may not be in the frame of mind to, if you're in your 40s or 30s or 20s, 60, that's forever from now. The world's going to be different by then. I may be dead. No, you're not going to be dead. You're going to be with us. And when you turn 60, you're going to understand Amy's song, Hell Oh 60. You're going to understand exactly what she's singing about. And your job is to stick around as healthy as you can and be there when you're 60. Your loved ones are going to miss you if you don't make it to 60, let alone 70. Now, give me a sec. So, very good record. I gotta remember, I can just press the button and it pauses. I'm still learning. I'm over 60. I'm still learning. Bless my heart. So, keep that frame. Remember, very good record. But you gotta get in a frame of mind of acoustic folk with some electric instrumentation and effects, because Wreckless Eric and Amy they do have an electric background. So, great record. I recommend it. And of course, in my production notes, I realize I'm going to schedule this for 9/11. In America, there's still some solemnness than 9/11. So maybe I should not have. Maybe it's appropriate that I schedule a folk record for 9/11 instead of something around here. No promises about next year. You like this video? Give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the notification bell. And listen to Amy Rigby. Hang with us. Hang with me. Hang with us, folks. Make it a 60 so you understand the first song with that perspective. You can understand it now, but you're not really going to get it until you're 60. That's all I'm saying. Come back and give us your opinion of this fine record. Just put your head in that mindset where you're going to hear. If we're latest in action rock, garage rock, and classic legacy bands, and punk, I find myself listening to a lot of punk too. I gotta put that in here. So I remember to say it as part of the spiel. Because half of these things are punk, aren't they? Heck, Wreckless Eric. Wreckless Eric. Stiff Records back in the day. Nick Lowe and Ian Dury and the gang. Stiff Records. That's punk. OG punk. Right there. And Amy has her own credentials in punk as well. So, thank you for watching. Remember, fresh food is important. Did I say that? Fresh food is important. Fresh, I still didn't say it right. Fresh music is as important as fresh food. Time for me to bail. Thank you. Bye.